Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Own Your Own Freedom. And today, let's talk about how to raise a narcissistic child, which is actually very important. And it's sort of a shame that not a lot of people in the narcissistic information community are talking about, because it's actually something that we can do as wounded individuals, as wounded human beings. It's very easy to pass down our own damage and our own problems and issues and dysfunction to the next generation, to our children. And actually, there's three ways. I'll explain sort of like a secret potion that's actually not so secret, but there's three ways that a parent can pass down their dysfunction to their children, or create a narcissist. And that is, either they don't give love at all, so that's like parental neglect, or they don't give unconditional love, meaning that the child has to earn their love, or they give unrestrained love, meaning no matter what you do, you don't learn right from wrong. I just love you regardless. Which in some cases, some people may think that that's acceptable, but in reality, that's not balanced. So, just to start with, the secret potion to create a narcissist is, first, two parents or one parent with emotional needs. That could be, because of their childhood, usually because of their childhood, or because of what they experience as an adult, their lack of self-esteem and what's going on in their life. Number two, there is the lack of unconditional love. That's why I just explained that. Lack of stability in the household. Meaning that there's a lot of turmoil, there's a lot of emotional trauma in the house, for whether it's because of drinking or whatever the case may be. Fourthly, lack of healthy communication, which is something that a lot of people and a lot of families suffer from, is that they either keep things bottled inside, or they were raised to sort of just scream about everything, and there's no actual communication to sort of come to a consensus about what to do. It's sort of just like, I will just scream at you, or I'll just run away, or both. And then also, lastly, there's no balance or accountability with the parents. So like we said, no balance, or there's no balance in their love and how much they're giving, but also there's no accountability, meaning there's no one to whom that they have to refer to in concerning what's right and what's wrong, concerning how to care for their children, whether it be God, whether it be, their parents, whether it be, I don't know, law enforcement, whatever the case may be. There's no accountability. There's no one to sort of keep them in check. So they just do whatever they want. They don't read any books. They don't consult help. It's just, we have no plan and we have no accountability, so we're just going to wing it and screw up our kids in the process. So the main thing that I will say is that self-esteem for a child is incredibly important, as we already know. It's essential for development. It provides sort of a self-protection. It helps to create their own identity. It is basically the connection to family and to society, because that child feels loved and appreciated in their immediate life. It has less to do with what's going on in the outside in the world. It's more to do about their the nucleus, the people that actually matter. And that allows them to care for others. That encourages the next point, empathy. Empathy is the ability to step out of your own inner world and your own problems, and to step into somebody else's world and to care about them for like 5 seconds. And without empathy, actually without self-esteem, empathy cannot be learned, because if they don't have self-esteem, they're going to be constantly trying to fill that void with meaning, like the narcissist does. And so without self-esteem, there's no empathy. They can't develop, they can't care for other people and their suffering. And then because of that, then instead of being the life world being filtered through their self-esteem, through empathy, without empathy, their ego becomes their filter through which they see society, the way that they function. This is the part of our psyche that is shallow and defensive. It is an aspect of our personality that becomes overly inflated very easily. I mean, for a normal person, occasional admiration is necessary, but constant, constant admiration is needed when you have no self-esteem or empathy. The ego becomes the source of how you see the world. And that's where the narcissist uses manipulation and triangulation to help satisfy the ego. It redefines reality by lying and crazy making and makes them feel powerful and facilitates the flawed logic of this unbalanced ego in their life. So let's talk about the three ways that someone can produce a narcissistic child. And that's, for example, I'll put into two different categories. So number one, there is excessive unearned praise. From a young age, the child learns and associates their worth with praise rather than proper character. That's conditional love. I have to do things in order to get attention. I have to do things in order to get my needs met. And then the other side, on the flip side, there's getting no praise. The child feels the parents will never be satisfied, will never accept them. Both are wrong, both are not acceptable, and both don't teach the child the right thing. What's proper for them is for them to feel that they are accepted and to be praised when they do good things, but to not only encourage them and care for them when they're doing things that the parents like. Number two, there's another example, excessive praise for accomplishments. The child associates their worth with achievement, learns love is conditional. On the flip side, there is criticism, excessive criticism for fear or for fears or failures rather than a healthy perspective. It encourages them to be a perfectionist or encourages them to act out, whether it be violently, emotionally, verbally, whatever the case may be. Because if you keep telling a child that they're nothing and you keep telling a child that they can't do anything right, they're either going to fulfill that or they're going to try to make you change your mind and kill themselves in the process. A third example could be overemphasizing the child's special traits or superiority over other children, whether it be at school or in the family. And then the child develops this overinflated ego where they can do no wrong. And on the flip side, there's lack of praise or encouragement for their individuality, meaning that they themselves are not special for what they are and for who they are. They're special because other kids are not as special. And then on the other side, they're not encouraged to be themselves. They're encouraged to either be something else or to match the parent. And it makes the child insecure. And it makes them to compare themselves all the time with other children. So there's two sides that are both wrong. A fourth one, lack of healthy communication. I mentioned this. Whether it be, and there's two sides, as I said, there's the screaming, whether there's excessive screaming and bickering and it's like, and no one has respect for anyone. Or the flip side, no one talks. No one wants to solve the problems. This was my family. It was that rarely we would come together to fix our problems. It was like, and when we did, it was always like a show, because my dad being the narcissist in the family, he was just trying to not have to take responsibility for his actions. So he would just cry crocodile tears and pretend that he was sorry, and no one ever believed him. But that was the extent of the conversation. So either there's excessive yelling, which he also did, or there's no conversation, no addressing it, just denial all the time. Both are unhealthy. So in the child, they develop these behaviors. They will brag about excelling beyond other kids. So that maybe they'll come home from school and they'll say things like, oh, well, I did better than anyone in my entire class. I kicked the soccer ball and it was faster than anybody else. And I did this and I did that. And it's not in a balanced way of, yeah, we were playing and I kicked the ball and I felt like it was so fast. It's not a source of self-esteem. It's, I need you to validate who I am and what I am and my abilities. Another example, they will fabricate their strengths. They will lie about what they're good at and exaggerate. Another thing, they can't relate to others. They'll have difficulty making friends because without self-esteem, you cannot create empathy. And then their ego becomes the way that the lens through which they see the world. So if their friends don't inflate their ego, then they can't relate to them. They can't connect with them. Another thing, they can't resolve conflict with friends or with family members without screaming. Because, usually children at this age, at a young age, they don't know how to regulate their emotions. So if we don't give them the tools to regulate their emotions by being an example to them, then they simply will just, let it out the only way that they know, which is screaming. Another way, they will use their charm to get what they want, because and their poor self-esteem means that they can't be honest with and say what they need. They're going to manipulate, and this extends into adulthood. They will manipulate and charm people to get what they want because they don't feel like being honest will get them what they need. So all of this, it's just important for us to recognize that it's so easy. It really is easy to create a narcissist. It's not something that, there needs a special combination, or that people are just bad parents. It's that if you have any imbalance in the family, and you don't check it, the child will adapt. And if it goes to the extreme, they will adapt and they will struggle with this disorder the rest of their life. So parents with emotional needs, a household with a lack of unconditional love, a household with a lack of stability, a lack of healthy communication, and lack of balance and accountability with the parents, all of these cause a child to develop narcissism. So let me know what you agree, if you agree with this, and if you have anything to add in the comments. You can add the hashtag #OwnYourOwnFreedom. Subscribe to my channel because I really love the comments that are being left about people's experience with their narcissistic boyfriend or girlfriend, and you can see all of my videos and even my playlists, and hit the notification bell, of course, you don't miss another video, and I will see you on the next one.